Okay. What's a dinosaur to do when there's kids on the ice? Quick. Somebody call their mom. Reptar. Something like that. That's what I'm thinking. Live chat. All right, we're doing it. Doing it live. I've got a big mess all over my desk. And that's not for all the reasons that you think it is. Yeah, actually it is. I'm still working on the flames. I started to do this yesterday during hobby time because I got stuck in a wonderful loop yesterday. It's that really awesome if you have like something at 3:30, 4ish, and you find out about it around like noon, and you're just like, I guess not noon, probably about like closer to 1. So you're just like, shit. Well, how the hell am I gonna get anything done today? Because I gotta not do anything at 3:30 to 4. So it's just like you gotta carve out a bunch of time. It's just like a really set window of like get fucked. As far as productivity, for me anyway. So yeah. So yesterday I got all the bricks finished scoring the bricks. That sucked. I'm really stoked to not be doing that. And I kind of needed a little palate cleanser, so I went back to working on little mechs. But this guy now has some legs. And he's pretty durable too. So that's good. But I was working on that guy. And then I also printed out some sewer. Just a little bit of sewer here. Some sewer boys, if you're in the know. Sewer boys. You gotta love your sewer boys. So, I recently, I'll start with these. So, one of the sets of stuff that I'm really, really stoked about that I have found is made by the creator I mentioned yesterday, Project Mobius. They have a bunch of sets on my mini factory, and I am a big fan. They are absolutely going to come in very, 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 very handy in the near future. Spoilers. So they have a very, very, very large catalog of cyberpunk terrain that it utilizes the open lock system. So by printing out these little pieces, pretty much it's almost like Lego. And that is not awesome for a lot of the stuff that I do because of the grid. Like by doing that, you then have a grid. It's very, it makes things very cut. Brick is one of the few places where you can kind of hide that. But this utilizes the same kind of system. And so does the walls. The walls of Grimdale utilize this system. But it is the same kind of way that a lot of terrain online will utilize this system to hold things together. I don't mean to just say all the time, but I'm very stoked about this because of all the applications that this could be used for, especially for any kind of like RPG kind of stuff. This is just really exciting. As far as the inside, the texture, little wonky on a couple spots, and that is, I'm pretty sure on me, I have done zero maintenance, to be honest. Like, absolutely zero maintenance on Greeblin. And I'm just kind of really excited that Greeblin still functions very well. I've not treated Greeblin like the little prince that it is, little jewel, but it still just keeps churning, it out. But today I decided I need to stop doing that for a little bit, and I need to do a little bit of maintenance. Got to do some maintenance. If you don't, yeah, break stuff. Your arms, your legs, maybe sometimes just explode. So, today I'm doing a little bit of maintenance on Greeblin. I changed out the plate because I got to figure out how to clean the plate. And when I ordered Greeblin, I was under the impression that you didn't know what kind of plate that the X1 carbon came with, that there were 3 different types of plates, and that it was just a luck of the draw. But the one that you really want is the PEI textured plate, which I've got one right here. I'll show you. This is the one that I need to clean. So, looks like this. Little plate. They come in a box like this. Little box, little plate in the box. You open them. Bada bing, bada boom. You open it, get it out. This one, this is the back. Right? No, this is this. Yeah, so you can see at the angle every now and then. Yep. See how it looks kind of dirty? That is what I need to clean. So, I'm going to be doing that today. And I'm showing you this just in case you are curious. In case you really look curious one. So, I've got to clean that off, and I need to get it to stick again. So I've got some glue that I'm going to put on there. But the reason that I'm doing that is because Greeblin has started to... There are certain spots on the build plate that I can tell it is not adhering to as well. So I have got to fix that. And I could not find my bag of tools and shit that goes to Greeblin in order to get Greeblin to work. So I was digging for that this morning instead of getting ready. So that's one of the things I was doing. And then let's see. Oh, I will cover that. I'm going to put this stuff over here. Just hit myself. That didn't feel good. Put a bunch of stickers on my little cart, which is fun. I got my Monument Hobbies. I got Holy Fire Them's Paint Fast, Eat Ass, Bash Fash. I got one for little gynasexual woolly bear caterpillar sticker. Kelly got me that. Of course, we got the How's My Kit Bash, called 100 Eat Shit, and then Ain't This Thing Is Possible, which is an Alaska quote. In Rush We Trust. All them bits. And then got some Smash Bash or Hammer. One of Sean's Paint Me Like One of Your Escher Girls, which I loved. And then, of course, I put the witty, the Hive Scum, the I've Come, and Tati with the choices. Just because I thought that is all. I thought those were all very fitting things to have on my like tool bits, like my little kit bash bin. Choices. I dropped a bit. Yeah, I dropped a bit, and now I get to say it like Mr. Bean. Oh, look at all those bits. Oh, look at all those bits. All them bits. I don't remember if I mentioned this or not, but specifically, also good morning, Possum. Good morning, my sweets, all of you. So I don't remember if I talked about this already on the stream, but I absolutely and I forgot it already. Fuck. It had to do with. Oh, it was Mr. Bean. It was the Mr. Bean thing. I told Kelly, I was like, yeah, apparently I did like a really good Mr. Bean impression. She was like, Mr. Bean doesn't talk. And I was like, yeah, I didn't think he did either. But like, I had all this stuff on my desk. I had all these bits, and Eric was just like, in a Mr. Bean voice, look at all those guns. And I was just like, what would that sound like? And I was just thinking about Mr. Bean. I was like, I had to get in my like Mr. Bean voice. Oh, he's just like kind of like a weirdo. He's like, oh, he does a lot of that kind of stuff. And I was like, oh, if I was that guy, what would I say? And if I said, look at all them guns, I'd be like, oh, look at all them guns. And Eric was just like, perfect. Okay, you pretty much nailed it. And yeah, so I got to have that like same experience with Kelly, explaining to her the situation, and she was like, "Mr. Bean never talks," and I was like, "Well, apparently he does." And then she did the whole thing. She was like, "Oh, look at all of them." So it was very good. Yeah, Mr. Bean. He's a guy that you don't think about talking very often. He's a guy you don't think about very often, unless you do. And if you are, put in the comments why. Let me know. Why are you constantly thinking about Mr. Bean? And why should I be? That is actually, I'd like to step away from the fun space and enter just the serious space. And it's just like, I will never be upset if any of the comments in my YouTube are only referencing Mr. Bean. I would actually really like that. And I know almost immediately how much I will regret saying that. I love that though. That'd be very fun. Like, man, I'm really tired of hearing about fucking Mr. Bean, especially because of like them notifying me. Man, yeah, that would get old really fucking quick. Don't do that. I changed my mind. Um, yeah, I got a whole bunch of bits. Hides Mr. Bean shrine. Oh no! If you had a Mr. Bean shrine, Mr. Bean, I don't know. I don't have as much experience. I've never seen a Mr. Bean movie. Okay, well, he's a goofy guy. He's a whole vibe. He I don't know. I kind of like to think that I've kind of Jackie Chan'd my way through life. I'm really glad that I don't think I've ever Mr. Beaned my way through life. There's never been a moment where I was like, oh man, I really Mr. Beaned my way through that one. Because like, I feel like that guy is just not in that character. I feel like he is just unaware. I guess that's the whole thing, is that character is just so unaware. Like, he's not part of the situation. I feel like Jackie Chan is very aware of the entire situation and just is reacting. Like, I think that's the difference in the humor. And then obviously one is a martial arts master. It's Mr. Bean. One of them is a martial arts master, and if you were wondering, it's Mr. Bean. Jackie Chan, he's just gotten really fucking lucky this whole time. I don't know how I've gotten off on this subject. It's 7 in the morning almost. That's probably why. I do love Jackie Chan though. I fucking love Jackie Chan. Jackie Chan and Donnie Yen are two of my favorite human beings on this planet. And at any point in time, I would be so excited to see them. Except maybe in person, because I would be. They were one of those people that's just like, oh my god, what would I say? I love your movies. That's it. That's all I have to say. Especially both of them. I just love both Donnie Yen and Jackie Chan so much. They make my heart so happy. There is a. It's I don't know if I'd say it's a good movie. And I was gonna say it's From Dusk Till Dawn too. That's not it. Holy fuck! I want to see a From Dusk Till Dawn 2 with Jackie Chan and Donnie Yen now, though. Jesus Christ, that sounds like one of the best movies I've ever heard of. But Shanghai Nights, I think. There's a movie with Owen Wilson. I want to say it's Shanghai Nights 2. I think it's the squeakquel that Donnie Yen and Jackie Chan fight on like a boat. And it gets me too fucking pumped because it's Donnie Yen, who is just like a machine, and then it's Jackie Chan, who is just like, I don't know how to explain it, but Jackie Chan somehow seems, And it's like watching them like make the shit. Like it's just like it's not like he's able. That's like just what he does. Like that's his style of like martial arts is like the whole drunken master thing is literally just like I'm assuming it's like in some sense like it has to be based off of Wing Chun or another type of jujitsu that uses like the movement of the other person as like the predominant determiner. And I think the difference probably being, and again, I don't know shit about martial arts. This is just being extremely analytical and whatnot, looking at how Donnie Yen moves and knowing how like Wing Chun, how like they train for that, and looking at how Jackie Chan moves, it's like the opposites. The same part of the brain and the body, I would think, have to be engaged, but one is like directing it and like choosing how to use the other person's momentum, and then like the other one is like pretty much taking the other person entirely out of the equation and only using yourself to respond to everything. But I don't know, it's just very interesting. And if you're ever like really bored and don't know what to do, just watch Shanghai Nights 2 and just watch Jackie Chan and Donnie Yen fight, or just watch any Donnie Yen and Jackie Chan movie. If you're looking for Donnie Yen recommendations, Enter the Fat Dragon should be on that list. And every time that you think, what the fuck am I watching this? Shut up and just keep watching it. That is it's just a feel, it's not a feel fun movie. It's just a good Donnie Yen movie. He wears a fat suit. He does a lot of Wing Chun. That's just fucking nuts in a fat suit. It's just good. It's just good Donnie Yen times. Big fan of Donnie Yen. Again, shout out to Donnie Yen, friend of the Grimdark Distillery and RedWetSkeleton. It's a known fact. That's a fact. Close personal friends. Man, I'm killing. I've killed a couple minutes here. I got really pumped talking about Donnie Yen and Jackie Chan, though. I'm gonna be honest though. I love Donnie Yen. That Jackie Chan. I could talk about Jackie Chan all the time. There's almost no time that I'm not like, man, it'd be fucking cool to hang out with Jackie Chan right now. He just seems like he's just down with anything. Like no matter what life throws at him, he's just like, yeah, this is fun. We can make this work, and I really like that. And that's kind of what I was doing with this. I don't know at what point in time I set the rules that I can only build Flames of Orion mechs with what is on this, but I caught myself thinking that last night when I was like working on these. I was like, man, well, since I can only use these bits, and I stopped and I thought, when the did that become a thing? Like I didn't, no one gave me those rules, but I do kind of like them. And I think they are helping. And I already know that everybody's going to love this guy because I fucking love him. But this is going to be one of my mechs. He's got a little round face. He's just kind of going to be like a big trash can boy, like a big like kill a can. And I'm really excited about that. So I think we might work on him. This might be the one because of the bit. So he is from, I'll explain where, these bits come from. This is the arm of a Dread Knight. The forearm. This is the forearm of a Dread Knight. I really like there's a certain set of bits here that I'm trying to keep we were talking, I was rambling. I was talking about design language and keeping that in mind when we are working on stuff. And I wanted to kind of go into that a little bit further. So one of the main things that I wanted to do was I want the two groups that I make to kind of have a correlation. Like, I want them to look like they started off being made by the same company, not printing Sir Mortimer Bombito mechs. Sir Mortimer Bombito. I don't know Sir Mortimer Bombito, but I can. I could print some of those. I know that Big Boss Red Skull like sculpted some, but I think those are only physical. Like I think they just had those printed maybe. I don't know if I can actually get the STLs, but if I could, that'd be good. My nose just did an awful whistle. But but that's what I was doing. Yeah, I was gonna show you these. So one of the design things that I really wanted to set is the lenses, the face, the eyes. Like I very much for Phaeton, my tech priest, there was a for a lot of things. SMB, Sir Mortimer Bombito did 3D sculpts of the Japanese art of the BattleTech minis, and they go so hard. Well, I'm gonna be looking at those. Fuck me. That sounds great. That sounds really good. So yeah, I'll look at those. This I mainly also I really did just want to. It's been so long since I've just kit bashed. I get in the habit of I buy all these bits. I've have all these bits, and I get to the point where if I don't have the exact bit that I need at that moment, it's just like, fuck it, I'll just make it. So it has become like a crutch almost in my part to not use what I have and to just start building instead. So I'm trying to use those muscles again. Trying to flex those kit bashing muscles, just because this used to be the only way that I made everything. So I kind of wanted to get back in that vibe, get back in the zone. It's like getting back to your roots, you know? So I started working on these little trash boys. But I wanted there to be a distinct visual between them. So this guy, these little lines here, that's going to be where essentially the cockpit, I imagine this thing kind of like rotating or not rotating at all, and like you have to physically move the whole mech. I like that, but I also like the idea of it rotating, or just having sensors and shit so it can see behind it. Fuck that. No, they just need to be able to see out of this. So with Phaeton, that was I did a lot of things with 3. But one of the main things was all of their helmets, all their sensory equipment had 3 slats, typically one larger and then 2 smaller ones. That's like just the little, and then they were going to be painted, typically like either actually, yeah, if the demon from my Instagram account, that is a demon of the god of the maimed, but they were birthed from the original priests of Phaeton, sent out into the void. So it has those 3 lines that are, I believe, orange. Orange was the color that I was going to go with, and that is because it is a contrasting color to the color of Phaeton, which is a deep metallic cobalt, like a deep gray blue. Now that is actually lore, but it also matched the lore that I came up with. So, coincidence, or so they say, or so they say. So, anywho, I'm really excited about this guy. He's got like a spot where I feel like an arm would just go perfect, and only on one side, which makes me feel like he needs to be the one that just has a single arm, and then propped a photo over on the Discord. I will look on the Discord. I've not been in the Discord in days, and I'm so sorry, my sweets. I need to get that actually functional. I just think I've had so much going on with the castle and the bricks and the tiling, the shingles, that I just have not been able to focus for shit. But Discord, quit trying to open in this little window right here. Why would I want that? You're crazy. Because they won't let me know the store they won't let me in the store. Yeah. I get you. Oh no. Come on now. Discord, Why are you being so crazy? Why do you have so many updates? Discord. Okay, I'll look at that picture here in a little bit. It's 7:06. All is well. He needs some leggies so he can stomp around and punch or shoot. But yeah, that's his little body. And so the reason that I did that size, it's about the same size as all these little Battletechs. So I've been trying to get everything roughly the same size as a Battletech mech so it doesn't look too wonky. You know, playing with other people because I really like to make sure that my stuff doesn't look wonky for anybody. What the fuck? I've been out of Discord for a day. Oh yeah, Momo. Eric sent me a picture of Momo, that awful bird lady, and we were out, and I sent it, or I showed it to Kelly. I said, "Hey, you remember Momo?" And she said, "Oh God, yeah, I remember Momo." All right. Oh shit, that's fire. Eric got a big castle. Since we talked about framing today. Oh man, that's awesome. That Harley Quinn looks so sick. Daddy's a little monster. Captain Marvel. I'm not familiar with Captain Marvel, but those look really good. Yeah, those look really good, Possum. Oh fuck me, that mech looks so fucking sick. Okay, SMB. Yeah, okay, I fuck with that. That is definitely. I can't imagine that that's not influenced by Calamity in some way. Which, I mean, at this point in time, if you're making big robots and you say that you're not influenced by Calamity, I don't fucking believe you at all. Like at all. I just don't believe you. You're a liar. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's kind of being like, oh yeah, I'm not really influenced by any of the greats. It's not, which is great. Okay, what? What? Good morning, Eric. Good morning, Eric. Good morning, Eric. I don't know why I did any of that. I'm just a fucking weirdo, guys. I'm sorry. It's 7:09 in the morning. I need to get this guy some legs. We gotta get this guy some legs stat. And I know that the bits that I have to use for them, because that was what was decreed. I woke up, I came downstairs, the bush outside was on fire, and I said, "What the fuck?" And then a voice told me, it said, "Hey, you know that bag of shit? You're only allowed to build Flames of Orion mechs out of that." And I said, "Why is my bush on fire?" And they're like, "Sorry." And it stopped. And I said, "Okay, well, thanks for not burning my bush." And then I came down here, and that's when you guys showed up. But yeah. So, I need to find some legs for this little guy. I'm pretty sure this one, its name was Acid Core, but it's my favorite, that has a nuclear reactor, a self-destruct, like control, reactive armor, and then a power fist. I'm pretty sure either a power fist or a pneumatic hammer. It's one of the two, but it's just like, I love that it's just the mech that when you shoot it, its armor's just like, oh, yeah, I like that. And then it's just nuclear powered. Good morning, Timothy. Good morning, Timothy. Good to see you. Glad to have you. So I was ranting about, oh yeah, so it's just got a self-destruct sequence, a nuclear reactor, reactive armor, and then a fucking fist. And I told Steve, I was like, and all of them, again, I can't stress enough, if you want me to really enjoy your game, so the Marauder is based on an anime. Okay, and when they released Battletech in Japan, they redid the artwork. That's so fucking hard. That's so sick. That's awesome. Man, so I need to learn the names of the mechs, because other than the Mad Cat, I don't know, and Atlas or Prometheus. I know Atlas and Prometheus, but I don't know if either of this is that. And I love, I'm going to do a little walk like an Atlas or Prometheus because they make me really happy. But I love how they walk like this. It's just really, really fucking goofy. And I just distinctly was Mech Assault. Mech Assault for the original Xbox. That big old son of a bitch with the 4-inch empty space inside of it, so they could just make the console bigger because bigger is better. That's a tangent on its own because I fucking love whoever was in charge. There's so many design, like when people are like, oh yeah, I was the guy that was in charge of this design decision. It's just like there's so many for things that like I love that I'm like, I would love to just meet that guy and be like, why the fuck did you do this or why did you do that? I think Prometheus is a specific name, Direwolf. Really? In Mech Assault, there were two that looked like this big goofball, and one was called the Atlas, and one was called the Prometheus. And like the Mad Cat and the Timberwolf in the game, they looked the same, but they had different weapon configurations. And I want to say, I don't remember. I always was a fan of the Mad Cat more, but I think that's because it had regular weapons instead of plasma. I also really liked the catapult. And then there was some mech. I don't remember what it was called. It might have been the catapult. I think it was the catapult. But it had plasma. It had these giant fucking plasma missile launchers, but they were just these giant balls of plasma that it would shoot. But it had two of them, and that's all it had except for this little like bullshit machine gun. But it was just sick because like you could just level cities with just these giant plasma balls. And I really liked that. I got a whole lot of like dopamine from like everybody getting in and being excited to talk to me about mechs and look at all these bits with me that I forgot what I was talking about. Stim too hard. This guy though, really catapult K2 baby. Yeah, so the catapult's really good. I like the catapult. Now whether it's good or not, I don't know. But I like it, and I gotta say, that's the kind of gaming that I love the most, and I'm really excited to get back into is like when I don't know what the fuck I'm doing and I just play what I like because I think it's cool, but I don't know any lore, I don't know anything like that. That is a very exciting thing because the moment that it starts to develop in my head that I do know what I'm talking about, then it's just like blah, 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 all the stuff comes out, and I'm like, well, I can't do that because of this or because of this. And I set all these rules in my head for my own. Again, clearly I do this. There's proof of it on the table. I sat down and I said, well, since I can only make mechs out of these bits, that's a crazy person thing to do. I have so many bits. I have so many printers. I could print anything I want. Why would I do that? I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with me. But I like doing that. So, anywho, I started to talk a while ago about language, design language, and trying to get these guys to look as though they were from the same kind of plant, maybe, or at least the same kind of engineers designed the components. And that was what I was trying to get at with, I want the little, the cockpit to be, there we go. Cockpit to be these little lines, just little panes of windows as opposed to say, and I got all my little mechs here so I could, this one, of course, the Mad Cat, the Timberwolf. It's got a very submarine, a plane kind of esque. So does this one. I don't know what this one is. Or this one. Very plain, as in like Plane, not Ain. I really wanted to understand how the cockpits and stuff for Battletech, the aesthetics that kind of carry over. And even without knowing anything about it, I can look at certain models and I can say, yeah, these two, they have a lot of similar design language because of the shapes And it's not, oh, they both have chicken legs. It's not that. It's the circular as opposed to the square. This one is the most, this one is probably the most organic. It's just so many round shapes. This one and is probably the most evolved design. And I say evolved as in like less square. There are certain shapes that it's just like, man, this is just, it's just blocks. It's just blocks and it's squares. It's all ball bearings nowadays. Yeah, it's all ball bearings. Everything's just, so, dude, I fucking love ball bearings. If you want to make anything like turn good, put ball bearings in it, dude. Yeah, don't reinvent the wheel unless you should have just had a fucking wheel in the first place. What were you doing without having a wheel? You should be using a wheel. That's when it's time to reinvent the wheel. When someone's trying to tell you that they can do it with a square, that's when you're like, okay, the square will work, but I need to cut it into the shape of a wheel. So here are two other little grills, essentially. These are from, respectively, a Primaris backpack. Barata. Barata, my demi. Right here. Right here. You can see it. Come on. Focus. Focus, camera. We've trained for this all of our lives. Aha! It had to remember it. It had to remember. This little head, which is from I believe a suppressor. That's the back. It's got some little connectors that'll make it look kind of like a head when I sit it on the back there. And then the last one was, so I've got that backpack. Oh, sorry. This one was another set of like grills from the jumping backpack. So my thinking is those are going to be the face plates, essentially, of these mechs. And that is the 1, 2, 3, and 4 with my little goofball trash can boy, which I really need some legs from a little goofball trash can boy. And I think he's going to get some legs made out of bolters. Everybody loves a nice bolter leg, right? I'm thinking so. Back in my day, we didn't have fancy legs made out of bolters. If you wanted to go down to the store, you had to pull yourself because you didn't have any legs. Back in my day. I was thinking about that back in my day. And thinking about, like, man, we were watching, what were we watching? But the character, we're watching Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, which, if you have not watched, go watch it. It's great. But there is a character, there's a couple characters. There's a lot of characters, actually. There's a fuck ton of characters in the show. But there is a character called Winry, that, of course, love Winry. She's only 15, though. And that, it makes my brain do this thing where I'm like, okay, I've been a 15-year-old, and I've met 15-year-olds, and there's a certain sense of, like, wonder or, like, suspension of disbelief that you have to do in certain situations. And one that I have noticed, especially, and I'm wondering how much of it is, like, culture? Like, how much of it is just me being a fucking American and being like, man, I am 37 and still just a fucking child in my basement. It's not my parents' basement. This is my basement. Like, I was an adult long enough that I could establish myself to be a child in my basement. I'm going to be my own dad now. But 15 is like the age of like the main characters in this anime, and they're like going on like cross continent like journeys. They're like in the military, and it's just like, man, when you have like your kind of like expectations for like, well, when I'm 15, I could be a state alchemist, or I could open up like an automail shop like my favorite characters in that show. You probably have some pretty unrealistic expectations. And then I started to think about that, and I was like, well, when did people start working, other jobs? And then it's just you start looking into stuff, and you're like, man, I just need to fucking watch this show and just enjoy it and not think about the real world. But yeah, it had to do with that. I am 37, but the idea of being like, I guess I'm gonna move to this town and open up a shop where I just like am a grown up at the age of 15. That's life with Asian parents. It's okay, I'm Asian. Eric, I mean, honestly, I'm kind of glad that you have tapped in here because that's the kind of what I was expecting. Where it was just like, I'm thinking maybe it's a culture thing. Maybe maybe it's a culture thing, and like it's like a trying to get you to be successful as opposed to like just trying to get by. I don't know. But it's the same time. It's just like it's a whole completely different. It's comparing apples to oranges. There's so many things that I'm not factoring in here, because yeah, it absolutely. I mean, so many factors go into all of these to determine each little small thing that it's just like, yeah, maybe there's just so many differences. The world's small till it ain't, baby. Anywho, I did a lot of talking about that kind of stuff, and now it's time. Now it's time to start cutting up some backpacks because I need them for a butt. He needs a butt, and you can wish in one hand and piss in the other, but God doesn't give away free butts. Only I do. Only me. So here you go. You get a butt today. And I'm going to cut it off of this backpack. You get a backpack butt. Da-da-da-da-da-ding. Where did my clippers go? My desk is just crazy. This is just crazy. I can't work like this. I quit. There they are. Silly me. I hid them underneath of the sewers and these open locks. That's where my clippers were. Yeah, if you were tuning in to see me work on the board, I do apologize, but I will do that later today. This is like, honestly, like the hangout, morning hobby hangs at this point, I'm kind of using as a clear my head, have some good vibes to start the day, because man, oh man, the castle, I love you, Cody. Man, this thing's killing me. I'm enjoying doing it, but man, that was a level of tedium that I've not like and experienced in a while. And the other thing is, it's like an eye awakening opening kind of thing, where it's just like, oh yeah, if I'm gonna do this as my job, which I absolutely want to, I love to do this stuff. This is my favorite thing in the world. I thought about looking at older sculpts of Baltic stuff to easier see the constituent shapes. I have not. But I bet they would be better because these are 3D printed, if I'm not mistaken. So I bet they would be more defined, maybe. Or I haven't even looked at like concept art. Like literally, I just opened these boxes, grabbed some models, and started looking at shapes to see how to duplicate the shapes or how just to understand. I think that's going to be a good little butt. We're going to slap it on here. Bada bing, bada boom. Okay, it's a little big. It's a little big. Little junk in the trunk. Never hurt nobody, though. That's what I always say. That's not what I always say. I'm not going to say what I always say. I'll say what Holy Fire them says. Paint fast, eat ass, bash fash. And we'll leave it at that. Choices. Oh my goodness. Mamma mia, I gotta glue this on here. Oh, piss. Speaking of wheels, or cylinders at least, you should probably start out in making an urban mech, LOL. Urban mech. I should. Like, one for like city fighting? 3D sculpture. They are 3D sculpture for sure. I think the material they're casting is PVC. Okay, so that absolutely tracks. I would I would bet PVC, which is so funny to think about. I never would have thought that I would be pretty good at guessing types of plastic. I never would have thought that I would be the kind of guy that's like, well, let me let's take a good look here, my good sir. Yes, ABS. Most definitely ABS. A cheap variety. I'm not long for this world. I've grown quite weary. Yeah, they're basically built like a trash can with guns. Okay, love the Irby Battle trash can guy. Okay, so that's kind of like where I was going with this. This guy, he kind of, I'm trying to remember the name. Oh, Zordon, the guy that in, hey Marco, the guy from Power Rangers. He had a very clearly like spaceship head, and like lights would flash around it. But he was the guy that ran the little house that Zordon lived in, which was the big fucking face that liked to lure kids in. Margot Polo? Margot Polo? No, 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 no. I don't think I like that. I think I'm going to use something a little more square. And again, I'm kind of upset that I can't just use some green stuff, because that's really what I would be doing, is just kind of filling in spots. But because I'm going to not do that, Eli, we're not doing that. We have to kind of work with what we got. I might just start fucking cheating and just start using pieces of plastic to just fill in and just start cutting and shaping, scraping. But that is cheating. I won't do that. I say as I really considered just doing it. Man, oh man. Yeah, trying to figure out what to use for these legs. So the legs, I want to go with these for the... that's so good. Alpha 5. You got it. Alpha 5. Zordon. That's what he would sound like when he was just like alpha 5ing around. And I use that as like as a verb, because he definitely alpha 5'd around, like just just always like falling over, when like shit sparks and everything's flying off. Again, I have not watched this in 30 years. So if I'm misremembering, do grant me a little bit of slack, but I don't remember him being the most competent at existing. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I'm just saying, hey, it takes all kinds. Big tough guys. Big tough guys. Ooh. So I definitely like these leggies. Hi, Margot. What you doing, girl? What up, my jumbo? Jumbo money. Jumbo money. Feeling funny. Like a bunny. Hi. How are you? Yeah. It is 7:30. We still got like 10 minutes. I know you are the herald of the coffee. Or come down here when the coffee's almost timed. Man. You're so crazy, Marco. Okay. So, shit. I was a little too old to watch Power Rangers when it came out. I think though my friends did, so lol. Eric, I forget the difference in age between us sometimes. But it's kind of like I think the difference between like Kelly and I in age. It's kind of like I forget that like a lot of my friends have children, and that I am just an adult child. So I kind of forget that sometimes. Sorry if I say anything negative about bearing children. I think everyone should do their own thing. I like kitties, personally. Hi. Margaret says, yeah, I'm pretty cool. So, anywho, about Battletech. I don't know. I don't know what kind of mech Margot would like. Margot is very much. She likes to smash the Beatles. Um, she likes to boop spiders to death. I think she would have a melee weapon. If I'm being honest, I think she would have something that, if there were any kind of guns on it, it would be like a sawed-off shotgun kind of situation, where it would be something that it would be like a sawed-off plasma cannon. Like it would be something that is so. It would just be the audacity of like this weapon would be the kind of thing that Margaret would have. Which is like, oh, okay, well, we were doing that, and I was just going to punch you, but now you've pissed me off. And then like Hatchet Man, yeah, ICP for life. I don't know if Hatchet Man is a mech, or if Hatchet Man, Margaret said, meow. I don't know if Hatchet Man is a mech or if Hatchet Man is just Insane Clown Posse, the Hatchet Man from there. But for a long time, whenever, yeah, he's got a hatchet. Yeah, he's got a hatchet. For the longest time in Battlefield 1, when I was playing that religiously, every time I got a hatchet kill, until the barbed wire bat came out. Then I only used that. But for the longest time, I only used a hatchet, and every time I would yell ICP for life when I snuck up behind somebody and was like, ah! It has a mech shotgun. Yep. There we go. That would be what Margot would want. Margot is a. Anywho, so I hop in the trenches and I start bashing. Like, I can't wait to make memes. Just the amount of memes that I'm going to make with Margot saying just obscenely brutal things, and then I'm going to put them on stickers. It's going to be a lot. It's going to be a whole vibe of humor. I need to drink some water. I've just been talking. I did not make any progress, but this looks like it's going to be a good leggy. I'm thinking 2 of these, and then that way he can just be like, clank, 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 clank. Yeah, that's going to be good. A little long leg, but I don't want his legs to be too long, because then he might look goofy. We can't have him being goofy. Can't have my boy being goofy. Y'all letting my boy run around goofy like out there? That's what I would say if I was like a parent and like my kid was not being utilized well on the sports team. Y'all let my kid run around goofy like out there? I tell you what. Gotta run. Time to make the cornstar donuts. Oh no. Comstar donuts. Godspeed you, Eric. Enjoy your donuts. I hope your day is better. I hear things are a little rough at the old Comstar. Thank you for joining us and for your time. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your attention. Have a good day. Marco, honey bunny, baby child. I need to, somebody posted in, I think, a video about having the blogger, the Grimdark Distillery, like, blogger. Honey. Praise Blake. Margo. Where are you? I don't know how, if you can hear her, like, because of the volume, like, I can see that it picks up, like, whenever she makes a noise, but I'm never, like, how loud is that actually in the recording? She's not, I can't see her. She's just screaming, like, about, hey, I know. I'm trying to explain that you're about 5 feet away from me on the other side of my toolbox, looking at the tube that siphons water out of our HVAC. Whenever the HVAC kicks on, there's a little motor that it picks up the humidity and anything, the moisture to keep the system working. it sucks that up into a tube and it goes across here and it goes into our into the sump. So then it gets sucked up, and when it does this, it makes this noise, and it sounds like just super bong. It just sounds like someone doing a crazy bong hit. And Marco likes to go over there and watch that. So as I've said before, Kelly and I always go whenever it's done, making a joke about just Margot making giant bong rips. Also, Marco likes Bong Ripper, the band. There are certain music that if I play and I can see that Margot's just kind of vibing it, and she's just like, yeah, this is good. I'll make a note of it. Bong Ripper is one of them, specifically the album Hell, Satan, Worship Doom. Margot likes that one. Margot also really, really likes the song Ecto by Inflow, and off of the album Kyo. She likes most of the album Kyo. She really likes Polyphia, and I think it's because they have a lot of discordant. I think really what it comes down to, I think she, like myself, I think gets... I know, I cannot see you. I can just hear you screaming from like 5 feet away. Screaming 5 feet away, but I can't see you. That's a good album name, or a good band name. But yeah, so like discordant noise. She likes a lot of discordant noises. Like, yeah, and again, that is just half of Polyphia. Half of Polyphia is really discordant, and the other half makes you realize that it's not. That it's actually all perfectly, all that works out mathematically. You just want to throw up. So, leggies. I'm thinking these are going to be a little bit shorter. I think I need to cut it like that, and I think I need to bring this part in to right about there. That's what I'm thinking. And that should have us, yep, at the same length as the other one. That was a really hard switch there. Sorry about that. But I was just looking down and I noticed, hey, I'm just jabbling, talking. Is Margot into Gnome? Gnome? Is Margot into Gnome? Like Gnome? Oh, the band Gnome? Margot loves gnomes. I love gnomes. Like decorative gnomes. To give you an understanding of how much I love gnomes, in our storage over here, in our crawl space, there's a box, and it is labeled off-season gnomes. As in, we have so many gnomes in our regular decorations that for off-seasons, we have to have a separate Rubbermaid for storing just those gnomes. I like gnomes a lot. They make me very happy, but I have a very specific type of gnome that I like. Very specific. Better not have any fucking legs. You send me a gnome with legs, get the fuck out of my house. I'm going to cut those off, and its feet are going right where its little body is. Yeah. Oh boy. Got a little heated there. Coffee time. But I bet Margot would like gnome. If they're a Doom band, yeah, she'd like that. And if they're discordant. But yeah, so got a lot of gnomes. But there is a picture, and I'll put it in Discord, of Margot sitting with a bunch of the gnomes because she is like the same size as them. And it just looks real good. And we always say, just hanging with my gnomies when she goes. And like around Christmas, it's specifically at Christmas. At Christmas time, I have 3 Christmas gnomes that I put out next to our fireplace. And they are sized different, and we have 3 cats, 3 kids, 3 cats, 3 gnomes. So but we have those 3 little gnomes that we put out, and Margot just likes to sit and hang out with them. It's just standing there next to them, but they're all like the same kind of height, so it just looks really, really good. But yeah, no, Margot loves gnomes, so I bet she would like the band gnome. We'll check it out though. It is 7:40. Thank you for listening to me ramble and rant and talk about random stuff while looking at this big pile of bits. We did make some progress though. I mean, I got 2 cuts made at the very end. And I kind of showed what I was doing, and I talked. And also, I mean, I'm in a good mood. I'm in a good mood to start making stuff. So I hope that you are too. Hopefully this has given you a little pep in your step. I'm going to go make coffee. thank you so much for hanging out and keeping me company. Thank you for your time, as always. I really, really, really mean that. It means the world to me. But I will let you all get back to your days, and I will keep you. I'll be in the Discord today. I will be in there because I'm going to be working on the castle. I'm going to clean this stuff up while I have my coffee, and then get to the castle. But yeah, thank you for tuning in. I will keep you guys up to speed, and I don't know. I might do some streaming this weekend. I might not. But I'll let you know. I'll keep things up to speed in the Discord. Take care. Sit pretty.